Boom, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your boy, Nolan Hawkeye Anthony here, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic week wherever you may be and however you may be listening. So I got a fun show for you guys today. Well, I'm actually recording this in the morning, Monday morning. I'm going to be playing the Iowa Open practice highlights in the background while I discuss, and I will be commenting on them while I am discussing how important this season is for Kirk Ferentz's legacy. Now, on both ends, I don't want to overreact on Kirk Ferentz's legacy, and I also don't want to overreact on the Open practice. But we're going to try and take care of two birds with one stone. And without further ado, let's get into this. Before we jump in, I want to mention going to 247hawkeye.com. And of course, I really hope you guys consider hitting that subscribe button. I want to get to 400 people by the time the season starts. We're almost at 200 here. Let's crank that sucker up. Let's get it up. And if you don't feel that I've earned your subscribe button, I get it. I've been there before. You know, you like a video, but you're like, nah, I'm not going to give that guy my subscribe. Comment, like. I say this every video. I live all the way out in California. So, and I try and talk with each and every one of you guys that comments on the video. And you would be surprised how much it really matters. Just one of you guys sharing the video and how much that helps out the channel. And last two things, be sure to catch the NHA podcast dropped every Wednesday. And last but not least, if you want to support the channel outside of subscribing, I do have a PayPal link in the description. And there we go. Look, guys, this is going to be more relaxed because I just kind of want to chat about Kirk Ferentz's legacy. And I am going to pull up his resume here as well. Right off the bat, folks, Kirk Ferentz, in my eyes, is one of the best to do it, certainly as an Iowa Hawkeye, but in the Big Ten, in the country. I don't know if he's a top 25 coach of all time in college football, but he's certainly up there, and he's certainly a top 25 coach in the Big Ten all time. I mean, and some of you guys are going to be like, what? Kirk Ferentz is absolutely top 25 all time. Listen, guys, there's a lot of guys who have coached in college football, more than you probably think. And bottom line is there's been hundreds of seasons, well, not hundreds, about 100 seasons in college sports, a little bit more. So I'm going to put on the highlights here, brought to you guys by Hawkeye Report. So thank you for that. And the motivation behind this, listen, guys, Kirk Ferentz only has so many seasons left in him. And I guess that's true for everybody. But as we come towards the end, one thing that kind of hurt Hayden Fry's legacy was how far the program kind of went under towards the tail end. And it went under, guys. I mean, there is no denying that. And I'm sure Kirk Ferentz really wants to seamlessly transition the Iowa Hawkeye program so they don't lose any ground towards becoming the program that they can become, obviously. And so, and then on the other side, guys, let's be honest. How many Kirk Ferentz teams are as good or talented as the last four teams that he's had, 4 or 5 teams? I have been saying on the NHA podcast how talented the recent Iowa Hawkeye teams have been. And I base that on the recruiting rankings of each class that is at Iowa. And quite frankly, it keeps getting better and better because Iowa has done better in recruiting. And when I'm saying that, usually what I'm saying is the depth is really solid. Let's go back and watch that again. The depth is really solid for the Hawkeyes, and it's what I said. The recruiting has gone up a little bit, and so it's a legitimate question. When is Iowa, and more specifically Kirk Ferentz, going to have a roster as talented as this year's Iowa team? I'll wait. In recent memory, I mean, the only team that I can think of that has been close to as talented from top to bottom as this year's team would be maybe the 2016 Iowa Hawkeyes and probably the 2011 Hawkeyes. So it is crucial for Kirk Ferentz's legacy to get to one more Big Ten title game, because one more Big Ten title game, if you really think about it, Iowa's 2015 fantastic season kind of set them up for the next 4 or 5 years. They've been recruiting much better, and they figured out a few things. But that one season really propelled them for the next couple of seasons in recruiting. Just think how much Iowa, if this year Iowa can be one of the top teams in the Big Ten, just think about how much that would do, not only for this year's recruiting class in trying to get Iowa into top 40 like they should be, but next year's recruiting class and 2 years down the line. And then Kirk Ferentz, the dude, in my eyes, has occasionally underperformed with some of his really good teams. That's not me saying that Kirk Ferentz has underperformed overall as a head coach, but you have to admit that there has been some teams where it's just like, dude, when are you going to have a team like this? And more specifically, for this 2021 Iowa Hawkeye team, it's loaded. It is loaded, guys. This Iowa team is loaded. I mean, let's think about it. What position on this Iowa team is really a concern? Okay, let's go through it. Tight end. No, they're fine. They will figure it out. Well, let's just look at the position groups that some of the Hawkeye article places have seen as concerns. The defensive line. Are you guys really that concerned about the defensive line? I know I'm not. Okay. Kelvin Bell, Jay Neiman have recruited the defensive line really well. Yes, the defensive line will be young, but if you look at some of these guys across the defensive line, where they ranked in recruiting and just the solid amount of guys that Iowa has been able to get, they will be fine. The offensive line. Are you really that concerned about the offensive line? I'll admit, I'm not concerned, but it is something where I'm like, let's watch out for that. But outside of that, which again, I'm not even that concerned. And matter of fact, I can see both the offensive line and defensive line rising up and doing really well. My internet is going a little slow. That's why I have to keep going back. And I am going to try and pay attention. LaShawn Daniels, nice scamper. LaShawn Daniels, guys, your boy here said multiple times that he was an excellent pickup. He coming out of the state of Illinois, he did have some serious looks from some Big Ten schools, but as far as the recruiting rankings go, he wasn't a 4-star. He was a mid-level to high 3-star guy. And Iowa just was able to snag him. I mean, it was quite impressive. And I remember I watched his highlights and I said, this is a guy that is worth watching here in the future. So Ivory Kelly Martin, by the way, guys, not only are the talented, the superstars of this Iowa team really talented, okay? But what about the guys like Ivory Kelly Martin, who have a real shot at not only having great seasons themselves, but propelling Iowa forward? Or Xavier Williams. What about those guys? I've been a part of some awesome teams in my day, and I got to tell you, a lot of times it's the guys that you don't think about that help raise up a team towards, some height that you didn't think they could get to. Anyways, I'm going to try to reel this in. This is a very important season for Kirk Ferentz. This Iowa team is loaded. They have, there's really no position that I am all that concerned with. A lot, I know some of you guys will say, well, quarterback. Okay, I got you, fine. But for me specifically, the quarterback position, it matters at Iowa, but there are other positions that matter more. So I'm more concerned with that. And I think whoever the quarterback is will do a fine job. But specifically with Kirk Ferentz, we don't know how many more years Kirk Ferentz will be coaching. I think he has at least four more years. And I know I've read some places, well, if Iowa takes care of his contract, then, it'll be all good. Maybe. But a contract won't change his age. And I think Kirk Ferentz will be able to look at it objectively and say, well, if every year is going to be this difficult to recruit because these guys are concerned about my age, my point is he will think about it. That's a good little scamper. Guys, Iowa's running back room is solid. I can't remember the last time it has been this strong. I mean, I would probably have to go back to 2015, 2016. It's crazy. And Iowa eventually figured this out, but they don't need the highest rated running backs to come to their school and to Iowa. It's nice when they do, but it's not necessary. And Liddell Betts said it. He said, you can find guys that can run the football. It's finding guys who have the other things that matter the most. And he's right. But this group of guys is both talented coming out of high school, high 3-star, both Gavin Williams, LaShawn Williams, and Tyler Goodson, Ivory Kelly Martin. The one guy that was not really highly ranked, Devin Hilson, I think he would have been ranked much higher had the state of Iowa had a football season like they should have and helped out a guy like Devin Hilson. Anyways, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But this is a very important year for Kirk Ferentz, guys. And it comes down to not knowing for sure if the coaching staff will be as solid as what it is now. I mean, look, it changes like that. I mean, 2 guys left in the blink of an eye last year. It happens. And little Alex Padilla action. And so you don't know if the talent will be as good and the depth. The schedule is difficult, but even Kirk Ferentz knows that it will be hard to have a much better situation than what he has specifically for this year. He has his starting running back coming back. He has his starting quarterback coming back. Starting tight end. Most of the backside of the defense. So this is it, guys. And now, if Kirk Ferentz never again makes a Big Ten championship, will that lower him as, I wouldn't say it would lower him, but it would, obviously it wouldn't be great. Iowa needs to make it one more time in the next 3-4 years to the Big Ten title game. The West is wide open to do it. It's not like Iowa is in the East. Iowa needs to do it, guys. They need to do it. And some of you guys are going to say, well, it's Iowa. We don't need these type of expectations. Wrong. Guys, Iowa has been good for 40 years. We have these expectations because we've seen it as a possibility for 40 years. And the only way for Iowa to take an even higher step is to sometimes hold their feet to the fire and say, this is what you are capable of. All right, guys, really quickly, some of my thoughts on the open practice. Listen, guys, I'll put it to you guys this way, okay? The open practice is one practice that we get to see out of a whole sample. And I don't know what a metaphor. Okay, this is a perfect metaphor. It would be like me coming and watching you for one day out of a whole year and making a whole base of assumptions based off of that one day. It'd be crazy. And that's what I think about this. Obviously, there's some good things like how Spencer looked. The offense looked good. I'm excited about the wide receiver weapons that Iowa has. And the running game. I think that this Iowa team will offense will be the best in years, including last year. But I already thought that. I didn't need an open practice to continue to think this. I already thought this. And, it's, as Kirk Ferentz said, it's going to come down to the top guys having top tier seasons, playing at what they are capable of playing. And, it was nice to see LaShawn Williams do his thing. It was nice to see Ivory Kelly-Martin back. It was nice to see Spencer Petras and all of that. But overall, it's one day out of a huge, huge, huge sample size. And I'm just not going to freak out and overreact. I just wanted it to play in the background while I tell you guys how important this season is for Captain Kirk Ferentz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you don't feel I've earned it, at the very least, like, comment, and share. It really helps when you guys do that. I want to get this ship up to about 500 people by mid part of the season. I can't wait to do preview videos for Iowa versus Indiana, Iowa, the whole 9 yards. I did it for a few years on Facebook, but obviously it will be on YouTube. Last but not least, be sure to catch the NHA podcast every Wednesday. And if you want to support the show, I have a PayPal link in the description. Without further ado, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow and facts or feelings, because your feelings don't matter. Go Hawks. Love y'all. Bye.